On today's show, we're going to get into the 2K ratings for the NBA players. We got a top 10 at least.
Top 10, and we'll see what tier, because we love tiers, Luka Doncic is in according to NBA 2K.
Plus, Kristi Toliver named a Dallas Mavericks assistant coach, reportedly, allegedly. We'll get into that and why that is such a positive thing for the Dallas Mavericks coming up on today's Locked On Mavs.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks Podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com. The 2K King, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Okay. Terry Rozier signs an extension. My heart broke today.
And I know that my heart will
That was
go
a heck of a commitment by Charlotte to Terry Rozier.
on. That's what I was singing in my head when I heard that happen for you.
Okay,
It was sad.
real quick,
That was Isaac's guy.
as soon as Terry Rozier signs the extension, a lot of tweets, DMs, texts came in. It was like, hey, sorry about your guy. Looks like he's staying in Charlotte. So I lean into it and I quote tweet someone today and I say, hey, appreciate all the, the thoughts, DMs, tweets during this emotional time. So fast forward 2 hours. I'm at my desk. I'm working my my main job, my real job at the church, and I get a call from my mother, who lives in Kentucky, and I answer it, and she goes, Isaac, what happened? What happened? Are you okay? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Mom? Like, what's going on? I'm just at my desk. I just seen your tweet. It's an emotional time. What happened? And I'm like, my Lord, you do not need to be on Twitter. No more. And then trying to explain to my mom, Terry Rozier and playing for the Hornets.
Who is Terry Rozier?
Well, who's Terry?
Yeah.
And
what is Rozier?
so anyway, I'm glad. I hope the listeners enjoyed that.
Did you get a call from your mother-in-law? Like, what happened to Zero?
Where's Zero?
So great. Anyway, Terry Rozier no longer a thing for the Mavericks. Big number, by the way. We should mention Terry Rozier got way more than Tim Hardaway Jr. Would you rather pay Terry Rozier $5 million more a year than Tim Hardaway Jr., basically?
No.
Mavs got a steal on that Tim Hardaway Jr.
It's getting close to KP range.
It is, man. That's quite a deal for Terry Rozier. But
So
I guess good for the Hornets.
Traded? What?
Good for the Hornets. They committed to him, and then now they have Book Knight and Melo, and they're doing stuff over there.
It's fun team.
All right, reportedly, Kristi Toliver is going to be joining Jason Kidd's staff. We mentioned this a couple days ago, saying we don't even have I think it was even yesterday, we don't even have the solidified assistant coaching staff done. And so this came out from Adrian Wojnarowski that Kristi Toliver, WNBA legend, all-star, is going to be joining the Jason Kidd's ranks. And this is great. And this is a really big thing, especially for what the Mavericks are trying to do right now. And I especially think because of a story that was about her, but I'll get to that in a second. There's a really interesting story about Kristi Toliver and her dedication to wanting to be a coach in basketball in the NBA particularly. But Kristi Toliver's been, WNBA All-Star. She's a two-time champion with she won with the Mystics, and then I think she also won with the Sparks, I think in 2016. I think that's when she won. But yeah, she's been an All-Star. She's been a EuroLeague champion, Super Cup champion, NCAA championship in 2006 with Maryland, ACC Player of the Year. She's just been an incredible player throughout her career. She's nearing the end of it, and so she's trying to decide, like a lot of people at the end of their career, what's next for you in basketball. And for Kristi Toliver, it seems like it's going to be coaching. Now, she became an assistant coach with the Wizards over the last couple of years. And so that's positive. She's been working in the NBA. She has experience. It's not like they're just plucking a player And I saw this on a bunch of comments, and I was extremely disappointed seeing this is just a PR move. Oh, the Mavs just a PR move because of Jason Kidd's past and all this stuff. And I know for all the smart people out there, you're not saying that because you wouldn't say this about a male player.
No.
A male player like Jason Kidd was a player and then just became the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. You're not like, oh, this is a publicity stunt just because it's a former player and he played for the Nets. And
I mean, was Jenny a PR stunt to Rick? No, I mean Jenny was on staff. I mean,
and Kristi Toliver, I think she's already been an assistant coach. So yeah,
you think it's a PR stunt? Then nah,
out of there with that mess. Out of there.
Off the pod. If you
but the thing that's cool to me about Kristi Toliver specifically is that she was playing for the Mystics at the time. And she was then becoming a full-time, Wizards assistant coach, and she did that for 2 years. And she only got paid $10,000 a year to do that job. Now, assistant coaches in the NBA make $100,000, upwards of $500,000 a year to do what they do, which is they work a lot and they travel and all that kind of stuff. But for her to get paid $10,000, you're like, okay, what is that? Why is she only getting paid that? Why is that number notable? It's notable because the WNBA has a competitive fairness rule that the Wizards and Mystics, who were, I think at the time were interconnected in some way, and you can't have the NBA team pay a WNBA player so much more money to do anything, right? Like that, they could just pay her to, sit there. She wasn't, but they could just pay her to sit there and then come to the Mystics and sign there in free agency instead, right? It's a competitive. It's basically like, all the NCAA booster rules. You can't have just some guy come in and just pay him a whole bunch of money, which now I guess you can. But the WNBA had this rule. And so she was getting paid $10,000 to do that. She still did it, which is incredible because she could have got paid, $500,000 a year to go play overseas in her off time. But instead, she wanted to be a assistant coach. She really wants to do this. She wants to be a coach. And so she did that for 2 years. And now this is a great story by Ava Wallace in the Washington Post. The league is now talking about the Toliver provision in the WNBA rules, so that people in this same conundrum of Kristi Toliver can get paid what they are owed if they're actually performing a job and it's not going against the competitive fairness rule. So that is cool that they're doing that in the new labor deal. That was a story back in 2020, and so that's probably changed by now. But I thought that was a really positive story because of her commitment to wanting to be a coach and to get paid so little to do a job like that and still wanting to do it. Plus, I think there's another thing that's positive about Kristi Toliver. She was born in Virginia. She went to school in Maryland. She played for the Mystics. She played for the Sparks, but then she came back to play for the Mystics when she got her choice. And then she stayed with the Mystics. Then she was coaching with the Wizards, and now she's branching out and working for the Dallas Mavericks. Like she's finally branching out and leaving home. And so I think this is a really great positive thing for the Mavericks. She's going to be a great voice. I'll give a shout out to Kirk. Kirk Henderson responded to my tweet about Kristi Toliver when people were saying ridiculous things about her. And he said, I just want somebody that's going to speak to Luka and to help Luka grow in any way. And I think that she will. She'll help him grow in a positive way and speak to him and not just and challenge Luka. That was the word he used. And I think that's great. I think that's very true because if the Mavericks are bringing in former players like Jason Kidd to try and help, Luka and help all the players, then why not bring in a former player that was also, multiple-time All-Star and champion?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how great of a coach she is because I don't. But you're talking about
I don't know how great a coach anybody is, to be honest, sometimes.
Well, I mean, I just don't. But you're talking about a former player, not just that, but a former champion, two-time champion. So she knows how to play the game. She's been an assistant the past few years. She's an up-and-coming coach. She's 34. She sat out last season because, they could set out due to COVID and all of that. And she's going to play out the season. She, this 2021 season, be a coach for the Mavs this year. Sign me up. Let's do this. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great hire by the Mavs. And it's another voice on that. For us, we've been waiting to see what this coaching staff's going to look like. We've seen Jason Terry. News came out he was taking a G League head coaching job today. So, we don't. JJ Barea, we don't know his official title, with coaching staff, whether it's part-time.
We even said this, but he was in person in Summer League after that. So I think that someone sent me, this is now allegedly, reportedly, allegedly, I'm doing the Jesus and Marrow fingers. That JJ Barea is going to be a part-time assistant and scout in Miami. so he can basically live in Puerto Rico and just go to Miami. That's what he said in an interview, but we'll see if that's true.
Yeah, so they're still, I think this just shows you why they haven't announced it yet, because the Kristi Toliver edition, we still haven't, which one, there hasn't been an official press release for that yet either. Right. Kokoskov, there's still names that, we haven't seen what this, coaching staff's going to look like, but great hire bringing on Kristi Toliver.
Great hire. Coming up, let's get into the NBA 2K rankings. The top 10 came out. Our guy Luka is in the top 10. Is the rest of the list right? And does it kind of tear off in the way that is correct as far as we think players in the NBA? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about betonline.ag. It's that time of year again. All eyes are turning now to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including the $500,000 NFL Mega Contest and the $200,000 NFL Survivor Contest, open now at betonline.ag. Go there, sign up on your mobile device to receive a 100% welcome bonus. They're upping it. They're doubling the welcome bonus. Use the promo code LOCKEDON and you'll get a 100% welcome bonus right now. So go ahead. Put some money in. You'll get that money matched that you can use on BetOnline. So go use it. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some NBA 2K rankings. So the list came out, and how are you feeling about this list so far?
Yeah, so 2K, this year they're kind of doing a little bit different. People love 2K ratings because, one, everybody just loves rankings in general because then it just has all this debate. It
assigns a number to a player, which,
exactly.
Personally, we never want to be a number. Like, don't dehumanize me and give me a number. But then for everyone else, we're like, let's give them a number.
The players care about this. Like, you can't ignore
players care
this.
about it too.
Players care about their Madden rating in NFL. They care about their 2K rating. Like, players talk about this. So you'll see players tweet out about it. Like, players care. So that's why I know there's probably a portion of you listening, watch on YouTube, whatever, saying, I don't give a crap about 2K ratings. Well, we cover it because it's kind of cool because it allows us talking points of, is this true? Like, are we going to see?
This podcast is covering the whole gambit. We got actual rumors and news with Kristi Toliver and the coaching staff. We have the 2K rankings. And in the third segment, we'll get to the NBA executive survey, which is like what real basketball people think. So we're covering the whole gambit today.
Exactly. So 2K,
something for everybody.
One of the things they've been doing that's pretty cool with 2K ratings is they've been allowing the national teams to like tweet out their rosters with ratings, which has been really cool. Like France's national team and Australia. So that's been cool. We've seen a screenshot of Maxi, in Germany tweeted out theirs. So that was cool. But they did shooters, they did playmaking, but they did the top 10 ratings in the NBA. So for 2K, this gives you some type of bar to look at of who the top 10 players are in the league. And then we can look at it and say, do we agree? And on top of that, not just top 10 players, but in a way they kind of tiered them off. So they didn't do anybody 97 or above as far as rating wise. The top 4 players in the league, according to 2K, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Steph. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 at a 96 overall. So that kind of naturally puts them in a tier by themselves. Then there's a spot 5 and 6 and 7 go to Kawhi, Jokic, and Embiid at 95 overall. And then rounding out the top 10 is Luka at 8, and then James Harden at 9, Damian Lillard at 10. All 3 of those guys at 94 overall. So is there anyone that's underrated in this category? I've seen some people today like, hey, why isn't Jokic in the 96 category? Because he's an MVP. He won it last year. Why?
An MVP doesn't make you the best player in the NBA. We've established this. Yes. Russell Westbrook was not the best player in the NBA when he won MVP. That doesn't make you just the best player.
I agree.
That means you had the best season. So whoever's saying that, I don't agree.
And we can save the Durant, Giannis, LeBron conversation for the third segment because that was with the ESPN stuff. But,
but there is a conversation, though. Should Steph be up there with them? Because I think 2K, you have to think about, okay, they factor in everything. They factor in offense, defense, athleticism, IQ. They factor in all those different things. And so should Steph be up there with guys like LeBron, Durant, and Giannis, who also bring it on the defensive end way more than Steph does?
Yeah, that's my only thing of I understand why LeBron, KD, Giannis is over Luka. I just think Luka should have been at least – I think Luka should have been in that next tier. I think Luka should have been on the 95 overall tier with Kawhi, Jokic, and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And I think he's a step up above Damian Lillard and James Harden right now.
They actually said, and they came out with a press release, like a full press release, very official, that said the reason why we're taking Luka from a 95 to a 94 is because he cries and whines all the time. That's the reason why, completely.
Incredible.
His free throws. How dare he miss
it's his free throw rating. That's what has.
No, I'm joking. That was not true.
Stamina rating, is that very high?
I mean, that's part of it though. Your stamina is part of it. But
is there anyone not in this top 10 that you're like, oh, I'm kind of surprised? Like the first thing that popped up to me is like Anthony Davis not being there.
That one's interesting.
Anthony Davis, Brad Beal. Wow, I'm trying to look for Trae Young. Trae Young's not on there.
Trae Young is not on there. Well, you start looking at, like I tweeted out today, I was just looking at the NBA players as far as stars in their age bracket, because there's just so many stars across the list. Like Zion, you're not surprised. Trae Young, John Morant, Tatum, Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine, Randall. AD is probably the best player we didn't mention. Kyrie. Paul George, Jimmy Butler, neither of those guys made this list.
Butler, yeah,
those are interesting ones, but kind of had down years for them. And then Chris Paul, maybe.
Yeah, which they're probably most of those dudes are probably 93s on this list, but
yeah,
I just think we casually throw out so much of all that players top 10. Like Luka top 10 player, Luka top 5 player, Luka whatever it is. And I think when you see a list like this, you kind of see all the names together and you're like, all right, well, when you throw out, oh, Jimmy Butler, he's top 10 player in the league, or Anthony Davis, top 10 player. It's like, all right, well, which of these names are you taking off for Anthony Davis? And so when you say Luka Doncic is a top 5 player in the league, is it safer to say he's a top 8 player in the league whenever you look at this and be like, all right, of the 7 guys above Luka on this list, who's the one guy, if all of them are fully healthy, who's the one guy that you would take Luka over for sure, hands down?
Embiid. And for me, Jokic.
When fully healthy?
Yeah.
Because, see, I think there's an argument for Embiid because of his defense.
Yeah, but if you're starting a team and that's your one guy, right? If it's your one guy, I would much rather build around Luka than I would around those other two.
Okay, yeah. If I'm building a team, yes, I would do that. But as far as like Steph, I think there's an argument for like Luka.
What's the other way you would do that?
I was saying like best overall player like right now.
Yeah.
Like just for this one season, starting this season, who is the one player on the list above Luka that you're like,
and so you should look at them in a vacuum. You shouldn't look at them based on, okay, well, Embiid has Simmons, so his job defensively is a little bit easier than it would have been, and Jokic has the shooting around or whatever. Like you can't look at it. Yeah. Luka's taking less and making more out of it than the rest of those guys, I think.
It's just wild too when you look at this list and say, okay, how many players on this list is 25 and below?
Yeah, and
Luka. It's Luka. Giannis is over 25 at this point, or he is 25.
Yeah, no, Giannis is. I just did this list today. The 26-year-olds: Giannis, Jokic, Embiid is 27, AD is 28, Kawhi is 30, Lillard is 30, Curry, Durant, Harden, and Westbrook are all around 32.
So it's just Luka.
And LeBron is 36. So it's just Luka that's under the age of 26.
Of 26. I mean, Luka is not even close to 26.
22.
So I think it's just a reminder of, once again, which we're on a Mavericks podcast, so you don't have to, people don't forget this. It's just a reminder of how
we should have a bias alert drop.
Well, it's just a reminder of how good Luka is at such a young age that, I mean, if you would have told yourself, 3 years ago that when Luka came in the league, you're like, oh, after his third season, he's going to have, the 8th best rating in 2K, and he's going to be on the cover of 2K, literally the cover of it, and the signature athlete for 2K in 2022, and he's going to have a higher rating than James Harden and Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis. There's a large amount of people that probably be like, man, I don't know. What's Alonzo Trier's, rating? I don't know. So that's the part about it that you have to shake your head and be like, it's crazy that Luka's this good already.
Okay, clear this up for me, because you said he has a higher ranking than Harden and Lillard. Luka is 94. Those two guys are also both 94. But no, this is true though. But Luka is 8 on this list. Coming from 2K, Luka is 8. Harden is 9. Damian Lillard is 10. Is there like a decimal point or like a 10th place or a 100th place that separate these guys? Why would they put Luka 8. Is it just alphabetical order? It's not, because Embiid would be higher than Jokic and Leonard.
All right, guys, y'all need to go to Ronnie2K's DMs. No one ever, tweets at him or replies to any of his tweets or probably sends him any DMs. So if you want to ask him a question, ask him.
They're at least never like friendly or positive, probably.
No, they're brutal. I actually met Ronnie at a Mavs game, at a Mavs game. Random fact: Ronnie2K and Harrison Barnes are really good friends, and he was there. He was in town when HB was here, so got to meet Ronnie2K. He was super nice.
There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments about the 2K ratings. They are interesting. Should Luka be higher? He's a 94. Should he be up there with Jokic, Embiid, and Kawhi? Answer that. Coming up, let's get into the NBA survey from ESPN from executives and scouts across the league. The most surprising move of the offseason, a Mavericks move, was listed in there. We'll get into that coming up. But before we do, let me talk about rockauto.com. Rock Auto is the place to get your car parts, everything that you could possibly need. Go there and look up your car. Their catalog is remarkably easy to navigate. You can just look up your car. You can just navigate all the way to all the parts that are available for your car or truck. See what they have there. And if you find something that you like, find something that you need, right, Locked On in your How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know that we sent you. And you're going to save money. You're going to save money on this. Why would you spend 30%, 50%, 100% more on the parts that you're going to get from Rock Auto? So go there right now. Again, write in Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Also want to tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar, it's a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. I talk about them every day, but there's a new flavor today.
Oh, let's go.
I'm telling you, I keep looking up. I pull up the website every single time I do this ad because there's always a new flavor. Pistachio. Are you a pistachio guy?
Not really, but you know what? You should try it with this discount code.
Use the discount code LOCKED15 to get 15% off, and they have flash deals all the time to get you cheaper boxes. I never pay full price for a box at Built Bar because they're always coming out with deals.
There was a deal the other day. You texted about it or DM'd
I sent it to the whole network because I basically paid like 50% for that box with our code and then their flash deal that they were doing. But the pistachio bar, 160 calories, 17 grams of protein, 5 grams of sugar for a bar covered in 100% chocolate. Check it out. Use the promo code LOCKED15. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into the survey. ESPN, Tim Bontemps made a survey of NBA executives, scouts, all that kind of stuff across the league. Now, we have to be transparent about this. It was only 10. It's a very strange survey. It's not like all of them. It's not it's not even
a lot of executives in the league
and lots of scouts. there's lots, but there's not even every team represented, but these are, scouts and people that know basketball across the league.
We know if Cole Zwicker is the one of the
scouts.
Oh,
does he count? I guess he counts, right? He could be on this. He probably is.
He was polled.
That's a good call. What about
Dirk? Do you think Dirk
was probably one of them? Yeah, Tim Bontemps calling up Dirk. So the Mavericks, the one that the Mavericks were, the only Mavericks thing that was part of any of this was the most surprising move of the offseason. Number one, Dennis Schroeder got a couple of votes. That was the most surprising one. It was surprising to me as well. Kemba Walker's buyout and signing with the New York Knicks got a couple of votes there as well. And then there was 5 things tied with 1 vote each. The Blazers offseason, their entire offseason, which I guess is not trading Lillard and not doing anything else around the edges basically to get better. Patty Mills to the Brooklyn Nets. I guess some people were surprised by that. Him leaving San Antonio. Westbrook to the Lakers. That should have been way higher because that was really surprising for everybody. Chris Paul's re-signing with the Phoenix Suns, which seems like somebody slipped on their ballot and accidentally hit the wrong button.
Maybe for the prize.
And then the Dallas Mavericks entire offseason, somebody voted for that to be the most surprising. It's not like they got 5 votes or something. They got 1 single vote, and somebody voted for the Mavericks whole offseason as the most surprising move of the offseason. What do you think the angle was for whoever voted for this?
Well, the angle is from this East executive in the piece. Tim Bontemps writes, meanwhile, 2 other teams, Dallas and Portland, were labeled as surprises for not finding what. This is not positive stuff, by the way. So full disclosure,
buckle up.
They were labeled as surprises for not finding ways to do anything to upgrade their teams around heliocentric stars Luka Doncic and Damian Lillard. This is Tim Bontemps talking. this anonymous East executive asked about the Mavs, said, can they get a healthy Porzingis? That's the key. But I was surprised they stood still. They didn't do enough to move themselves forward. They now have a clock ticking with them on Luka after he signed his Supermax extension. And then Daryl Morey hung up the phone.
It's not Daryl Morey. I know who this is. Are you ready?
Ready?
It's Masai. Masai Ujiri is telling Tim Bontemps they got to pony up. They didn't do anything around Luka. They didn't make any kind of move, and the clock is ticking. Miss Minutes is jumping up on your screen saying, it's almost time. It's almost time for Luka to sign again, and he's going to want out. If you don't make this move, trade for Goran Dragic. Send us a draft pick. Send us Josh Green. Do everything we're asking for. This is Masai Ujiri, I'm telling you.
Or it's World Wide West and Leon Rose in New York. It's
just like, cackling about.
Let's just keep on. Let's just put this out there. Soak the fire that, hey, the clock's ticking. We're going to be here waiting. Big Apple, brightest lights for Luka in 3 or 4 years. And let's just already keep that ball rolling that the clock's ticking for that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it really was a Toronto Raptors executive and it's some kind of posturing about this deal for Dragic.
But I
you thought we couldn't bring up Dragic in every single podcast? We did it. We found a way to do it.
Well, I think it does speak to, people around the league, including it wasn't just media covering the Mavs or Mavs fans that were thinking that Dallas is going to land a big name. I mean, it was just a week before Lowry signed in Miami that John Hollinger's on The Athletic, and he's, it's a back and forth piece about Toronto and trying to predict what's going to happen. And he says in that piece, he thinks Lowry's going to Dallas. I don't think Hollinger's just putting that out there, just out the whim of his, brain. So he
used to be an executive. He's got connections.
We've seen the reports too about, the Lowry thing. It's like, I know it sucks to always come in second, but was the Kyle Lowry thing like Kemba Walker? It's like, it feels so similar that was Dallas in the driver's seat for Kyle Lowry at some point, and then Miami, swooped in and got him. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Was there anything else on the survey that stood out to you? The worst moves of the offseason, DeRozan was the top of that. Them and the Pelicans offseason. I'm glad the Pelicans offseason was up there, because if you feel bad about the Mavs offseason, then you're not a Pelicans fan. So.
There was one move. A player was slighted in a way that's irreversible, that cannot be solved. That was unforgivable. Did not receive a single vote in this category. Best player in the NBA for going into next season, LeBron James, 0 votes. The Washed King returns.
We got some smart people. The insecurity is oozing out of Twitter. Who are you talking to, bro? Like, who's calling you the Wash King? What credible person is calling you washed? There's nobody. This is just
no one.
All made up to hey, let's shoot out the tweet. And
you know me, I like LeBron. I have nothing against LeBron. I'm like you, and I do not understand the Wash King thing. Do not understand.
It's those narratives, man.
It's a funny nickname, but it doesn't. It seems like it's real.
He loves trying to create the narratives, man. It's fun.
That one did stick out to me. But what do you think about the merit of it, though? Are Giannis and Durant the two best players going in, and which one is higher?
They are. I think I would have Durant over Giannis, but it's hard to even. It's so hard to say that because Giannis just dropped 50 in a Game 7 and won the title, and he was so dominant in that.
Kevin Durant dropped 50 against the Suns.
I know, but there. You have to give it a little bit more merit too, because it was Game 7. It wasn't Game 7. Or no, it wasn't Game 7.
Game 6.
It was a closeout game in the NBA Finals. That means something too. That adds a little bit more to it. But I still would take Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant is the best overall player in the world right now.
Before I say that Giannis is the best player in the world, I need to know how many of the 50 nuggets he actually ate the next day after winning the championship. I gotta know.
But no, I think that's right, and I think it's Giannis and KD. LeBron's right there; he's number 3 on that. But I did think it was interesting that he didn't get a single vote. I'm like, well, you didn't. It it was executives. It wasn't media members, so that's why he didn't get a single vote.
Nobody on the Clutch payroll.
Hold on. Can we give a shout out to Chris Haynes for the Haynes snippet of who is more dedicated?
Oh, ready? Haynes snippet.
Who is more dedicated and the loyalty with fans and players? Like, you have a portion of ESPN with LeBron. You have Haynes with Dame. We have Chris Mannix with Boston. I mean, I feel like that should be a poll. Like, which loyalty is stronger between those three marriages?
Man, that one's tough.
It is tough, but
okay,
Chris Haynes was the next level with the
Chris. Yeah, explain what the Chris Haynes thing was.
Well, Chris Haynes tweets out an unreleased snippet of an upcoming Damian Lillard album, and not only did he tweet it out, but at the bottom of the clip, it literally says
in the clip, not in the tweet, in the clip. Like, he had to go in with a video editor and add this text in there.
Dude's in Adobe adding, Haynes.
And Adobe Rush.
I think it honestly said, I don't have it in front of me, like Haynes unreleased snippet. And I was like, oh, this is incredible.
Hey, you got to put your watermark on stuff because stuff gets stolen. But man, a Haynes snippet, really?
I just like that he.
Hold on, wait. Chris Haynes has done music in the past, though. Are we sure he didn't produce it?
He could have. Which I want to make this clear. I don't blame these people. Like, if I was in that spot, let's do it. I'll tweet
stuff
out.
Gets stolen. Yeah.
No, I'm saying I get the loyalty to players and stuff. When you're in a spot and you can have those relationships, sure, I'll tweet out somebody. I mean, Mavericks player, I'm open. Shoot me a DM. I'll tweet out an unreleased song.
Willie's got music, right?
Let's go. I'll tweet out.
Oh no, it was Wes Iwundu, I think, was the one that we were talking about music when he first.
Okay, well, that might be the line I'll draw.
What if you an unreleased Willie Cauley-Stein painting?
An unreleased Wes Iwundu jump shot.
That's it. We're done. That's it. Guys, hey, I just want to say I appreciate everybody. I'm going on vacation, and so I will not be on the podcast. Isaac is taking over. You're in great hands. And
all the downloads just went down.
No, come on. They come here for you. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for this season. It feels like I'm going on vacation. When we come back, it'll like start the next season. But
guys, what are the odds that Markkanen ends up in Dallas while Nick's
100%. I'm so ready to do an emergency pod from my parents' house. I'm ready. Guys,
but seriously, we have some guests lined up, so don't go anywhere. We'll be talking Mavs all
We're
next
hanging
week.
on. We got content for you.
We're hanging on, and then it'll be media day. So cool.
Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.